Vertical links in general are going to be for anyone that's looking to help get rid of the wheel hop that the IRS suspension of the S550 allows for. We have a few different options when it comes to bushings that are going to differentiate the ride quality that you'll get and the performance of the link as well. The Steeda links have Delrin Bushings, which are the second hardest option that you have when it comes to bushings. That means that these are going to be a good option for someone that spends time at the track or puts in hard miles on the street and is worried about blowing out a poly bushing, but that also doesn't want the rough ride quality of a spherical bearing. The bushing chart, if you will, goes like this. You have your rubber bushings at the bottom of the chain because they're the softest. Then you have your poly bushings, which are more stiff. Then there's Delrin, which are the bushings in these links, and on top of that, at the top of the chain, are rod ends and spherical bearings. Spherical bearings aren't really bushings at all. They connect the suspension solidly to the chassis. With that in mind, Delrin bushings are going to be very stiff, and they're going to be able to handle a lot of abuse without being noisy or clunky or adding NVH like spherical bearings would. Other than Delrin bushings, these links also have billet steel bushing sleeves and spacers. This is going to add to the strength of the Delrin bushings and affect the flex of the bushing. Bushings aside, the vertical link itself is an improvement over the factory link. These are thick CNC machined to billet aluminum, while the stock links are stamped steel. These aren't going to flex under load at all, and they're lighter than the stock links all at the same time. I do want you to keep in mind that while these will work to reduce wheel hop and keep the rear planted better, these are only one component of the IRS, and there are a handful of other pieces that you can look into to really stop wheel hop and get better traction. You can even start to get into things like cradle and diff bushings or even lockouts. But at the end of the day, these are still a good step towards eliminating the wheel hop and getting the rear more stable. That means harder launches and keeping the suspension more consistent no matter what you're doing with your car. When it comes to price, you're looking at spending a little over the $250 mark for these. It's a little bit more expensive than your other options, but you have to keep in mind the bushing upgrade here and the Steeda name brand. If you're looking for something a little bit less expensive, you do have some other options. Just keep in mind the different bushing materials. The install for these is an easy one. It's a 1 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter, and you can expect to spend an hour or two tops to get the install completed. You won't need any tools out of the ordinary. Actually, only a few wrenches and a torque wrench, and of course a jack and jack stands or a lift if you're lucky enough to have access to one. The vertical link sits right behind the rear rotors, so you have to pull the rear wheels to get access. Once that's done, you're just looking at 2 bolts to get the stock link out. You'll reuse the factory lower bolt to install the new vertical link, but use the supplied hardware in the washer for the top of the link. You'll want to torque these down to spec and reinstall your wheel and tire, and that's all it's going to take. These are Steeda billet aluminum vertical links for the 2015 and newer Mustang. You can check them out more online right here at AmericanMuscle.com.